All right, man, some more things I want to speak on real quick. So, people keep bringing it up. I think Saint Trunks was in the comment section. I think that's his name. I've seen him around a lot for years, but shout out to bro. But somebody else asked me when we was live the other day, man, I think it was a live I had to cut short on like Monday or something like that, the Spence and Errol, Errol Spence and Tszyu fight ain't on the books. It ain't on the books. The sport. I looked on FanDuel. It's not there. The Kelly fight there. I think Joshua fight was. I could be wrong with that. But the Berlanga fight was there. And, Trunks put a comment up and said it's fishy that you can't bet on this fight in the betting books. Now, I was listening to one of the little, interviews they was doing, or the little inserts they was doing for the fight. And they were saying that, or I was watching something where Errol Spence was a slight plus 120, a negative 120 favorite, meaning that if you bet $120 on Errol Spence, you'll win $100. I think Tszyu was like a plus 140. It was something like that. I don't know what sports book they was betting on, but meaning if you bet $100 on Tszyu, you win 140. But I looked on FanDuel earlier this week, and on this Friday, and it wasn't there. And I imagine that it may not be on the MGM Grand betting book. I don't know. I know our brothers bet on Hard Rock. But a lot of brothers saying that they can't find it on the sports betting book, and that this may be fishy, and it's probably fishy, bro. It's probably fishy. Even when you see, when I bet on the NFL, and that's the only thing I will bet on from time to time. Maybe NBA game here and there, maybe a boxing match, because it just depends. Like I probably can go a whole year without betting, or betting one or two. It's just like if I got a couple of dollars to play with, or I got a feeling. But when I, bet the NFL or something, like even when the game is a dead heat, they give you odds on the dead heat. It's like negative and negative or something like that, So, yeah, it could be a red flag, man. It could be a red flag, bro. It could be a red flag, Is it because it's Australia? Is it because the outcome is predetermined? You tell me. Because why ain't this fight on the betting books? And, I know this generation is a little bit different. But, when I was growing up, you had to draft. A U.S. fighter used to have to be the real C side to, go over there to the UK fighters or Australia fighters A side. You really ain't see a lot of fighters go all the way over to another country from America, especially an Olympian like Errol Spence, and somebody that's supposed to be a big fish in a ticket seller going willing to go to Australia. And his reason was, well, I didn't want to do interviews in Dallas. I didn't want to do all the interviews. I hate doing interviews. And it definitely could be something fishy. Ain't fought in 3 years. It's been a lot of fishy shit going on with PBC. There's rumors behind the scenes that he ain't got all his Fetty Wap for the Terrence Crawford fight, that Al got a vendetta for him. But my thing is, what's the point of him selling himself to Tszyu? But what I will say is Tony Harrison looked hella weird. He looked hella weird going out to Australia. Tszyu, from the highlights that I seen, it's just like he went over there and folded like a chair. And I know Tony Harrison is better than that. And maybe it's the water, maybe it's the flight, maybe he didn't get enough time. Who knows? But only people gonna be able to make an opinion after the fight. And if it looked fishy, people are gonna point to the sports books, like the sports books didn't want to bet on it. The sports books told you about it. And I didn't really think much of it because I'm not a big bettor. But that's the second person that I can remember this week that brought it up, that you can't bet on the fight. And I'm just looking like, bro. I'm like, bro. Dude, boxing been fixed since the inauguration, damn near, bro. Since this motherfucking exception, bro. And people, I remember Sandwich Boy, he made me pump a nigga sandwich. And he was saying, yeah, I don't count what them old fighters did because they was taking dives. Nigga, they taking dives today. They taking dives today. They taking the swimming board dives today, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's kind of wild to look at, bro. To think about that this fight ain't a sports betting book, but Kelly is on there versus whoever the fuck he fighting. Joshua, I think, may be on there. I know Berlanga was on there. Hitchens may be on there. It's a lot of geriatric ass fighting going on this weekend. You know, all these different lesser fighters and lesser fights. You know, regardless, this is the premier fight of the weekend. However you feel, this is the premier fight of the weekend. And you telling me you can't put no fatty on this fight? You can't put no chili on this fight? So a lot of the brothers that bring it up to me, they got a point. They got a point. And PBC gonna continue to, you know, trick y'all asses, bro. It been a couple of questionable fights, and I can go in my memory Rolodex. It's been a couple questionable fights where it looked like dudes that come out to try, dudes just didn't care, dudes that took the swimming board dive. It been a couple fights that I can think of off the top of my brain, just guys that shit that look fishy, bro. Look fishy. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, they don't care nothing about their brand. They're another brand that don't give the fans what they want to see. You think they don't care if they trick you out your money? If you stupid enough to pay $80 for Tszyu and Errol Spence, I mean, shout out to you, bro. If that's how you rocking, bro, if you gonna pay $80, bro, it's the same dude who just basically told y'all, who did tell y'all that he threw the Terrence Crawford fight. Well, I knew I was gonna lose. I just wanted the money. Then he over here talking about, oh, I might retire. I don't know what I got left, and yeah, I'm just trying to see. And he basically, if it go that way, he's giving y'all, he foreshadowing what's to come. You be surprised what these niggas do for money when you got kids and family and a woman to provide for. You be surprised how low these niggas stoop. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like if they were serving this nigga up like that, bro, why serve him to Tszyu and why not serve him to Sebastian Fundora? That's my thing. If you serving this nigga up to make somebody a star, why not serve him up to Sebastian Fundora? That's what I'm thinking. Like, if you serving them up, maybe they tried to make the Key fight, maybe they tried to make the Jamil fight, and he said no. But if I'm serving them up, hey, the bare minimum is gonna be is Fundora. Like, nigga, you about to just get in there and get blood sacrifice, nigga. I'm not serving them up to Tszyu, but like I said, they do a lot of things that don't make sense. They do a tremendous amount of things that don't make sense at PBC. And that's what make you think they laundering money or they doing something illegal that the feds need to get involved. No, that's what makes you think that, bro. Because when I look at how just the basic functions of a business, they're not functioning as a basic function of a business. To make money, to deliver the best product for, you know, to your fans, to produce a profit. They're not doing that. And now all of a sudden you can't bet on this fight. Am I surprised? No. Am I surprised if this is a similar work? No. Are we, you know, kind of looking too much into the, you know, the tea leaves? Probably so. Oh, I'm not sure if I want to fight. I don't know how I'm going to do. I might retire. Oh, I didn't really fight for the Bud fight. I knew I was going to lose. Think about you trying to sell a fight for $80 in Australia and you telling people that you basically threw the Terrence Crawford fight. I knew I was going to lose. That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. Think about that. That's what you're saying. Right before, you know, this fight. No, and maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm, maybe I'm said tripping, son. You know, maybe I'm tripping. You know, maybe I'm tripping. But you know, it is what it is. But if you know, it's gonna be the talk of the town. You know, with Errol sell his integrity, man, when you got niggas that have been in Hollywood or been in the sports industry, 99.6% of them is compromised. So they'll do anything for money. A lot of them niggas taking a ballpark francs to the motherfucking catcher's mitt for some money, for an opportunity to make some money. Not even for sure gonna make money. Motherfucker on a pilot sitcom then got ballpark franked all across his motherfucking catcher's mitt, and then a show flop and you just a blade. With no fame and no motion and no money. It's a crazy world we live in, right? But we'll see what happens. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live and drop video. Find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Appreciate the love, support. Let me know what you girls and guys think in the comment section. Hit the link in the description. Join the Patreon. And let me know what y'all think about this, man. All my bettors out there, have y'all seen something like this? When you've seen something like this, can you kind of give us some inside information on it? What it mean, all that stuff. So yeah, I would love to hear what y'all think about it, man. Peace.